Have you ever heard someone say that there are no good guys in Warhammer? I'm sure if you're just a little bit familiar with Warhammer, you've heard people say that. And of course, there's factions and characters that have their flaws. If someone doesn't have flaws, then that makes them pretty one-dimensional and boring. But there are genuinely good guys, just all the way good. They may have flaws, may make mistakes, but they overcome them. There are definitely good guys within Warhammer, and today we're going to go over 4 characters/factions within Warhammer that are just straight up the good guys. First off is the Imperium of Man, and this will definitely be the most morally gray of the factions and characters that we'll go over today. And the Imperium definitely has its issues. I mean, the Bad Ab War happened. They made the Astral Claws mad enough that they went and turned into the Red Corsairs, and now that's a huge problem. But the alternative to the Imperium is a bunch of demons, a bunch of Tyranids that want to eat you, Drukhari that want to flay you alive and torture you. So the alternatives to the Imperium are much worse. As well, you got to give the Imperium a little bit of leeway. They live in a different reality than we do. If your next door neighbor could summon a demon in his basement that would destroy your planet, I'm sure the governments of our world would be a little bit more strict than they are. So you got to give them a little bit of leeway in that. Next up is the Salamanders. Out of all of the chapters in Legions, the Salamanders are the nicest. They definitely care about humanity and protecting civilians. In some instances, they may go out of their way to protect civilians, and it may hinder the war efforts. Like in the book Hell's Reach, the Salamanders and the Black Templars did not get along because they went out of their way to protect humanity instead of trying to win the war as quickly as possible. As well, I have a quote from Vulcan here that says, "The strength of the Salamanders is not in their firepower, nor in their mastery of war. It lies in their love for the people they protect." This is not something that, Conrad Kurz would have said.
To be a salamander is to embody the true purpose of a space marine. Might, compassion, diplomacy. Soldiers for the fragile beings, the defenders of mankind, protecting the lives of the innocent above all else. But our loyalty is a badge of honor. Our gene seed was created with purpose by our God Emperor. We will stop at nothing to secure a safe haven for humanity and fight for the honor of Vulcan.
I just want to point out that Salamander was voiced by Christopher Tester. He has a YouTube channel and goes by Chris Naturally RP. I'll put the link to the video that I got that from in the description. I didn't use the full quote because I don't want to steal his content, and I like his content, so I would, if you want to see the full thing, just go listen to it on his channel. He does a fantastic job. Next up is Sanguinius. Sanguinius is, or I guess / was, the Primarch of the Blood Angels Legion. And one of the cool things about Sanguinius is he had visions of the future and saw that he was going to die. And instead of running from death, he chose to stand and fight because that was the right thing to do. He was also very just compassionate in general. At times where some of the Primarchs didn't get along with each other, Sanguinius was always nice to his brothers. He was always liked by his brothers. When Horus was named the War Master, a lot of the Primarchs had problems with it, but Sanguinius was one of the ones that congratulated him and stood behind Horus in support of him. Now I'll play a little clip of Sanguinius' speech that he gave at Eternity Gate about standing and doing the right thing in the face of defeat. Again, this will be voiced by Christopher Tester, and it will just be part of the speech. If you want the full thing, you'll have to go check his YouTube video out.
It shames me to admit, but I would abandon this wall if I could. The Primarch in me, the supposed demigod half of my heart, craves life with a ferocity that shames me. If I borrowed that instinct, I would take to the sky and never look back. But I cannot. I am half human, and the human in me demands that I stay. The prophecy death is coming today, tonight, tomorrow. I know not the when or the how, only that I feel fate's breath on the back of my neck. I do not remain here out of immortality's courage. I remain here because if I am to die, I choose this death. I choose to die with my back to the last door. I choose to give my life to buy another hour or a minute or even a single second of grace to those who cannot be here fighting with me. I choose to die here because I do not believe I have yet given all I can. Someone must stand and fight, and if I have but one choice left, I will make it now. I will stand. I will fight. I will hold this wall, knowing that the 13th Legion makes for terror with all speed, and if they cannot bring salvation, they will bring retribution. Whether I am alone, or whether 100,000 of you are by my side, when the War Master's horde descends upon this wall, they will find me waiting for them with a blade in my hand. Not because I can win, but because it is right. I do not know what delusion grips those out there who were once our brothers and sisters, but I know it is right to oppose them. I have spoken enough. You need hear no more of my fears and confessions. All that remains is for me to ask, will you run?
And finally, Garviel Loken. Now, Garviel was a son of Horus. His story takes place in the first 3 books of the Horus Heresy series. The thing that sets him apart from the other sons of Horus is that he stayed unwaveringly loyal to the Emperor. Now, back during the Horus Heresy, and right at the end of the Great Crusade, many of the ships that went around that carried the different legions had remembrancers on board. Remembrancers were humans, and it was their job to record/remember what the Astartes and Primarchs did during the Great Crusade. So they'd go around, they'd create art or create just records of what had happened. And Loken was friends with many of them on board, and he protected them. One of them on board was Carol Sinderman, who had this to say about him. Loken was the most human of all the Astartes. A man who could feel, who could question, who could understand the weakness of his fellow soldiers and the emptiness of war. So in conclusion, I think this shows that there are plenty of good guys within Warhammer. There's a lot more that I didn't list. If you'd like to learn more about these characters for yourself, a great place to start would be the first book of the Horus Heresy series, Horus Rising. Or if you want to go to Sanguinius, you could read Fear to Tread in the Horus Heresy series as well. As well, thank you so much for clicking on this video and giving it a watch. If you feel so kind, please leave a comment, like, and subscribe. And let me know if there's any other Warhammer content you want me to cover. Thank you and have a great rest of your day. Bye.